Hey besties, I hope we're all doing well. Today I wanted to sit down and chat about my winter knitting plans. Mainly for my own benefit, to be honest, because I've been away on holiday for almost the past month. You wouldn't know because I like schedules and stuff, but I haven't been doing that much knitting at all. And I am not that familiar with my own queue and the projects that I wanted to start in autumn. I did finish like most of my autumn to knit list, but not 100% of it. And I still want to continue on with doing those projects, as well as think about what else I'm going to do in the winter. This is my first winter as a knitter, which is kind of an exciting time because it's prime time for making sweaters, and sweaters are my favourite thing to knit. So I've been thinking a lot about patterns that I want to cast on, but also I don't want to overwhelm myself because I still have my autumn projects that I bought yarn for and still really want to make on the go. So first I'm going to talk through all the projects that I thought would maybe be autumn projects, but I'm moving into winter because I've got the yarn and I've got the pattern and I'm still really solid that I want to create that piece. And then I'm going to move on to more hypothetical winter ideas. I'm going to run through this stuff quite quickly because I know this isn't the first time I've mentioned any of this, but the first thing I want to make is still my fingering weight sweater. But I've got the yarn for it this time and I am still set on the chestnut sweater by Coffee and Crocheting, which is a crochet pattern. I got this yarn. I have 6 skeins of it. It is Kinross 4-ply yarn in the shade 16 Quartz. I got recommended this in my autumn knitting plans when I was asking for super soft yarns, and I love the colour, love the feel of this. Really excited to work on this and also to actually have a crochet project on the go. And also in this little project bag where I kept all the birthday yarns that I received, I have 3 skeins, 3 slightly squashed skeins of plain material Monday, which is got a hair on it, but it's some brushed silk in the shade Off-White, 100% brushed silk, and I'm going to be knitting the Ophelia Tank by Starcross Knits with this. But I don't think this is going to be something that I cast on until I finish my mixed rib cami, because I don't want to have 2 fingering weight camis on the go at the same time. I think I only even have 1 set of needles small enough to work it. I'm really excited for this, but yeah, the camis take a long time. That Handmade by Florence cami hasn't been worked on about a month, to be honest, and I've still only got a back panel. But there is no rush because that is something that I am happy to even bring through to the spring and the summer. And what else have I yapped on about? Oh, my beanie number 1. If you watch my last knitting podcast, you'll know that I had some struggles with this. It's still in the exact same shape because I filmed that podcast literally the day before I went to the airport, and I've got back only about a week ago. So yeah, beanie number 1 in a very sad sorry state. I have bought some shorter 6mm needles to knit this with, as I'm struggling with a longer cable, and I was struggling with a really long cable. I just can't do magic loop. So I've got this lovely Drops Air yarn in the shade Blue, and I'll be knitting a beanie with that. And that is actually the only accessory that I'm going to make for myself this winter. So I've thought about this, and there's a million different hat and scarf and glove patterns out there, and I know that's quite a popular thing to knit, as well as sweaters for winter, but personally I don't like wearing hats, gloves and scarves. I have a pair of leather gloves that I wear. I would never wear knitted ones. I have 1 scarf and I barely ever wear it. I wouldn't wear a second one. And after I'm done this hat, I will have 2 hats and 1 pair of earmuffs. And that's plenty for me as well. So no more accessories after this. If I feel like there's something missing in my wardrobe that I could knit, then I will knit it. But otherwise, I don't want to bring more hats and scarves into my life that I'm not going to wear. Although that is going to be my Christmas gift knit plans. So I'm going to do a few Christmas gift knits, not too many, partially because the idea overwhelms me at the moment, and it's already the end of November and I haven't started anything, so I don't want to push myself too hard. I have a skein of Drops Fable in Off-White, and I've ordered another skein of Drops Fable in like a sort of mixed blue marl shade. Drops Fable is a sock yarn, a fingering weight sock yarn, and I've also, in that order that hasn't arrived yet, so I'm not showing it, got some 2.5 or 3mm double pointed needles. So I'm gonna make 2 pairs of socks if I can for Christmas to gift. I don't yet know which sock pattern I'm gonna use. I need to do a bit of research about it. I want it to be simple. I've only ever made 1 pair of socks in my knitting career and I found it difficult. It's something that I do want to give a go because I'm not going to knit socks for myself, so that's not something that I would wear. And yeah, Christmas is like a perfect excuse for me to learn how to make socks. So if you have a really simple, easy sock pattern for fingering weight yarn, please send it my way. I'm sure there's a million out there, but any suggestions are very welcome. Along the same lines, I'm going to be knitting a hat as a Christmas gift as well, and I plan to use yarn from a sweater that I've half already frogged. It's this really chunky white yarn from Stitch and Story. I don't think they exist anymore, but I knitted my first ever sweater with it. You would have seen it if you watched my scrap yarn sweater video, and yeah, I've got plenty of wool left in that half frogged sweater that needs to get used up, and I think my mum would like a hat. So I'm going to do that. Again, I don't have a pattern. I think it will require gauge swatching that yarn before I commit to a pattern because it is super thick. But I've knitted a hat before for my dad last year, actually, but way before I was really into knitting. And I did it not in the round, I did it like as a flat panel. I found like a free pattern on a blog post or something, and I knitted it as a flat panel and then seamed it along the side, and it literally took me about 2.5 hours, 3 hours to knit the whole thing before I had any level of expertise. So I may find that pattern again because it worked very well the first time. I do feel a bit like I should maybe be making more gift knits given how much I do tend to knit, but honestly right now with the amount of projects that I want to do and the amount of yarn I have, I feel a little bit overwhelmed. I've never had this much yarn in situ before. Like the way I normally like to function is find a project, buy the yarn, use the yarn, done. But right now I've got a bunch of yarn and I don't even know where to keep it, so it's just on my floor in various project bags and parcels, and it's lovely. I'm not complaining about having tons of yarn, but it is there and it is in my mind and in my house. So I'm gonna be, yeah, tackling all that and not giving myself many reasons to buy any more yarn. It is really so easy to overconsume when you have a hobby, isn't it? Like, I'm not gonna call myself a minimalist, but I don't like having stuff that I don't use in my house at all. But with the yarn, like I will use it. It's just like a matter of when. And it will just be lying there for 6 months before I pick it up. Oh yeah, I've got a test knit. I'm doing my first test knit. I've got nothing to show you for it. It's the Athens tank, the Athens top, made by Roche. I applied for the test knit in October and yeah, I got selected. I think the deadline is not for a while. I think it's by the end of December or January, so no bother, I'm sure I can meet the deadline, but it is something that I am going to be prioritising pretty soon. I've actually ordered the yarn for it in the same order that contained my 6mm needles and my Drops Fable. I've got, I can't remember the exact name of it, but it's a cotton linen blend in like a light green, like an olive green, sage green kind of colour, and the tank is like a 1 shoulder tank. So definitely not winter appropriate. But potentially winter holiday appropriate, so we'll see. But yeah, that will be something that I'm working on. I'm really excited to do my first test knit. The reason that I applied for it was because when I saw Roche's Instagram post before there was any pattern even in the making of the first iteration of the tank top, I was like, I want that. No, I need that. It comes with like a floral intarsia design along the one side of it that's very, reminds me of Mary Quant, that 60s designer that did like the daisies. So yeah, very excited for that. I don't know whether or not I'm actually going to do the floral intarsia because while it's really beautiful, I think I would maybe be more versatile of a top without it. But yeah, that's coming soon. Watch that space. But yeah, that is the last non-sweater thing that I'm gonna be giving myself to do in winter actually. Everything else that I want to talk about is a sweater. So I've got 3 on the list, plus that fingering weight sweater one. So that's maybe 4. But 3 on the list, 2 of which I already have the yarn for because I was gifted some yarn by Hobby, which was wonderful. I think if this video goes up before Black Friday, I do have a discount code with them that will still be valid, and they're doing a Black Friday sale. The yarn feels amazing quality. I'm really excited to knit with it. I'm already knitting a sweater with some of the yarn that I got gifted that I'm keeping a little secret for now because I'm going to do like a knitting while on holiday vlog thing that will come soon or whenever I can edit it because there's so many clips. But for now, I'll show you the other Hobby yarn I've got and what I plan to do with it. So this is the Hobby upcycled Suri alpaca in the shade number 5. I have a whopping 9 balls of this because I had no idea how much it would take to make a sweater, so I overestimated. And I also have this Hobby soft alpaca that is, I think, fingering or sport weight, and this is in the colour number 25. So they match. I haven't gauge swatched it yet. I may use both. I may just use this Suri alpaca. It is a lot thicker of a yarn than the Drops brushed alpaca silk, but it's still thin and fluffy. Nowhere near as thin as the Drops, and definitely not as thin as a mohair. So I really don't know whether I'll be maybe even holding these together, what I'm gonna do. I think when I showed this in a haul, I mentioned that I wanted to do a zipper sweater of some sort, and I have been looking at patterns. I got recommended a few patterns. I looked through the entirety of Ravelry for the search word zip or zipper, and I couldn't find anything that was exactly like what I wanted. So I have decided that I'm going to make the Petite Knit zipper sweater, or potentially the Petite Knit zipper sweater light, depending on the gauge swatch, but then make an adjustment to the neckline because I really don't like turtlenecks or even high necks. I find them really unflattering on me. So I think I can make a modification to the pattern to have it be a bit of a lower neck. But yeah, that is my plan for this. I think it's gonna look so good. I love this color. It's super unique. It's like a pink grey almost. And I really hope that it will become something that I wear a lot. I do find it hard to style colour, but I have like a pair of green smart trousers. I also have a pair of grey beige smart trousers, and then of course I think blue jeans as well would obviously go with this, and grey jeans. Okay, yeah, maybe I'll be fine actually. Maybe I do not need to worry about that at all. Also, this is going to be my first ever Petite Knit pattern, which I'm really excited about because yeah, obviously everyone talks about Petite Knit in like the knitting influencer space, and I want to see what all the fuss is about. And yeah, this pattern is the closest thing that Petite Knit does to something that's in my style. So yeah, this is gonna be a good one. I think I might even do a project vlog about the making of this, and yeah, the installation of the zipper will be interesting. This is my other Hobby yarn. This is Divina. This is mainly alpaca. It's alpaca, polyamide and wool, which is a very similar composition actually to the Wool and the Gang Feeling Good yarn, and feels almost the same. I knitted a sweater in the summer. It's called the Little Lie sweater from Wool and the Gang with that yarn, and I really enjoy wearing that. So hopefully this will feel similar to it. I have a bunch of balls of colour number 2. I also have colour number 22 and colour number 15 with this, and I am going to make the Lindgren sweater by Knitting for Olive with these colours. So I'm going to have the white base and the blue and the red as the colour work colours. This was one of the sweaters that I mentioned in my colourwork sweater knitting pattern roundup, and I fear that I have influenced myself, which of course is always going to happen. There's actually a free pattern by Kiss Kiss Rhinestones called the Pippi Pullover that is very similar to the Lindgren sweater, but one of the things that I love about the Lindgren sweater is this curved hem it has on it. That I'm really excited to recreate. I think that's going to look so good, even just with like jeans. Like this is going to be such a lovely color story with like some mid blue jeans. And this is going to be like a proper workhorse sweater, I think, in my wardrobe. Looks like the exact sort of thing that I seem to wear every day now that it's freezing. So yeah, it's a worsted weight pattern. I think this is worsted weight yarn. Oh, maybe it's not. 50 grams gives 150 meters. Interesting. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'll figure it out, no matter what. So yeah, that is that. The third sweater, and the only idea that I don't actually have yarn for, so may or may not end up doing, will likely not end up doing, but it's a nice idea, is a Lana Del Rey sweater. I am a Lana Del Rey girl through and through. One of the main reasons that I started knitting and taking it seriously, no, actually not the main reason that I started taking knitting seriously, was because I saw a TikTok in summer 2023 of a girl that knitted Lana Del Rey sweater with like color work of the Lana Del Rey. I think it's the Lust for Life album logo on the sweater, in white with red for the color work. I saw that and I went, oh, maybe knitting is cool. And I then decided I was going to hone my skills enough to make that or something similar. I then saw Lana Del Rey in June at Primavera, and to go see her I knitted a tank top with the same Lana Del Rey logo on it. I knitted that in Drops Bell. The yarn was great. The tank top itself, I'm not going to wear again. I'm proud of the fact that I made it. It was my first ever colour work. I think it looks good. I like put stitches on hold, I grafted stitches together. I did a lot of techniques for the first time with that project, but the overall fit of it, I just have so many better tank tops than that. And despite it having the Lana Del Rey logo, I'm not gonna wear it, which is fine. I may sell it or something like that, I don't know, but I want to make something that is the same but that I'm actually gonna wear. And I think I might as well just go with the original that I fell in love with on TikTok. I saw a few other people recreate the same sweater actually, and every iteration I see of it looks great. I don't see a reason why I would need to like follow a pattern to make this, because I've now, with my scrap yarn sweater, been able to self-draft a raglan sweater. I also already have drop shoulder sweater patterns, like the Little Lie sweater that I made for Will and the Gang. I'm pretty sure I could very easily adapt that sweater to my needs and just do the colour work the same as I did for the tank top using a free, I think it was bracelet book I used. I think I talked about it in my first ever podcast. If you want more details on that tank top, I'll link it. And that's everything that I have to talk about. This feels like it's been short and sweet, but I don't know if that's just because I'm so used to yapping for an hour and a half. But I really hope you enjoyed this. Please let me know what you're knitting this winter. Although I definitely don't need the inspiration, I do want it. So take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!